Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. We've been working on a series about the 9 attitudes of mindfulness-based stress reduction. So far, we've gone through non-judging, patience, and beginner's mind. And today we start to tackle trust. And so what does trust mean? And I think one of the most important things that we need to establish for trust is that trust begins here. Trust begins in ourselves. And our ability to trust ourselves and to begin to lean on our own inner wisdom will allow us to be able to not only trust ourselves as we practice doing it, but also be able to look outwards as well and start to see other people. What can we trust in other people as well? Of course, this is significantly more complicated because it does, as we look outwards for trusting others, then we need to start adding judgment into it, right? Is this a good opportunity for me to trust, or do I need to be more guarded with myself? So it does get a lot more complicated with that. So the way I want to do today is I'll read through Jon Kabat-Zinn's Full Catastrophe Living Trust, and then I have a few things to say about trust myself. So here from Full Catastrophe Living. Developing a basic trust in yourself and your feelings is an integral part of meditation training. It is far better to trust your intuition and your own authority, even if you make some mistakes along the way, than always to look outside yourself for guidance. If at any time something doesn't feel right to you, why not honor your feelings? Why should you discount them or write them off as invalid because some authority or some group of people thinks or says differently? This attitude of trusting yourself and your own basic wisdom and goodness is very important in all aspects of meditation practice. It will be particularly useful in mindful movement. When practicing mindful movement, you will have to honor your feelings and what your body tells you, or stop or back off in a particular stretch. If you don't listen, you might injure yourself. Some people who become involved in meditation get so caught up in the reputation and authority of their teachers that they don't honor their own feelings and intuition. They believe that their teacher must be a wiser and a more advanced person, so they think that they should venerate the teacher as a model of perfect wisdom and do exactly what they say without question. This attitude is completely contrary to the spirit of meditation, which emphasizes being your own person and understanding what it means to be yourself. Anybody who is imitating someone else, no matter who it is heading in the wrong direction. After all, it is impossible to become like somebody else. Your only hope is to become more fully yourself. That is the reason for practicing meditation in the first place. Teachers, books, CDs, and apps can only be guides and offer signposts and suggestions. It is important to be open and receptive to what you hear and what you can learn from other sources, but ultimately, you still have to live your own life, every moment of it. In practicing mindfulness, you are practicing taking responsibility for being yourself and learning to listen to and to trust your own being. The more you cultivate this trust in yourself, the easier you will find it will be to trust other people and people more and to see their basic goodness as well. Okay, and so kind of what I want to say on this as well is, one of the things that we focus on in our meditation practice is our bodies. We use our bodies and the sensations of our bodies to ground ourselves in the present moment. And trust begins here. And in fact, you don't even have to trust your body to see how trustworthy your body is. So you can use your body as an example of some way that you can trust. And maybe the first example is the breath, and that you will realize that your body is always breathing and that you don't have the ability to stop your breath. That as long as you are alive, your breath will continue, even if you try willingly to stop breathing, that your body will eventually breathe. And you don't have to do anything for your breath to work. You don't have to be conscious of it. And most of the time, quite frankly, we aren't conscious of our breath. Even when we're practicing mindfulness and practicing meditation, we find that our awareness of breath escapes us. So our bodies are trustworthy in this way. And as you look deeper, find that the heart is beating. The heart continues beating. Our metabolic processes are working. This extremely complicated machine is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and it's in an extremely delicate balance. If you've ever done any research about how the immune system works, it's incredibly complicated and perhaps surprising as well that the immune system doesn't actually destroy your body. It's not only complicated but beautiful. How all of this works is still quite mysterious. I'd say there's so much about, especially inside the brain. Like, how does the brain work? Where does the mind come from? All of this is still a bit mysterious. But we can, because it does work, we can trust that this beautiful symphony of our bodies does what it's supposed to be doing. Otherwise, we wouldn't be alive right now. And so, as we consider this trust in the body, this trust that these processes are working, isn't our mind, no matter what your belief is, it's obvious that there is some connection between the brain and the mind. Certainly an injured brain changes how the mind functions. So if the mind is a part of this whole system, can we begin to trust it as well? Trust that it is working, at least in some part, in the way that it's supposed to be working? And start to trust that we do have some innate inner wisdom that has been, that is coming out of thousands upon thousands of previous generations of human beings, that we have been honed through this process, that this modern version of ourselves may have, there may be some merit to the version of me that's here that comes from so many generations previously. And so that this is working the way that it's supposed to be working. And I know sometimes it can be hard for us to listen to that inner voice and to trust and to constantly search outside for something else to tell us what's right. And I have to say that this was, out of all the 9 attitudes, this was the one, I guess, that surprised me the most. Was that I think when I first started meditating, I lacked trust in myself to a point that I didn't realize. And my meditation practice really helped solidify this a lot more. And I started, instead of constantly asking people around me, what should I do in this situation, and sometimes foolishly listening to their advice, instead trusting in myself, trusting in my innate wisdom, and allowing me to take more control of my life and to have some real positive outcomes because of it. And it doesn't mean I was right 100% of the time, that I made the right decision 100% of the time. It wasn't, in fact. And I'd say that trust started to help pave that road of me, some trial and error, and going, oh, okay, this is working, this isn't working, and starting to be able to hear that voice and hear that the true me, and to trust and believe and to give it a try and to start practicing trusting in myself. So know that there is validity in the you that's here, and that the you that's here is built and resides inside of this magnificent system that is constantly working well to keep us going, to keep us alive. Hello, everybody, again. Welcome. Trust is, in one way, one of the things that we can trust is the breath, that the breath is going to continue working. As long as we're alive, we're going to keep breathing. So let's do a meditation on the breath today. And would encourage you, kind of as the theme of this practice and trust, to see how the breath works automatically. And as well, to be aware of the time when you may take control of the breath. It's one interesting thing, I suppose, about paying attention to the breath, is that you may find your desire to control the breath. And then you may find that the breath starts to change as you're meditating. And you go, wait, why is it changing? Is it me who's changing it? Is it changing automatically? So, use this time and use your beginner's mind as well to investigate what's going on with the breath. So get comfortable. I encourage you to bring your back away from the backrest, sit up straight and tall. If you're sitting on the floor, it could be useful to put a cushion or a pillow underneath your buttocks to raise your buttocks slightly higher than your knees. Allow that natural curvature in the lumbar spine to help you be a little bit more comfortable as we start today. And feel free to move the head around a bit, roll the shoulders. And as we get started, let's just for a moment take control of the breath. Take a few deep breaths together. So breathing in, breathing out. See if you can elongate and deepen your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. One more. Breathing in, breathing out. And now let go of control of your breath. Observe the body breathing. Find the breath, its physical sensations wherever it is most obvious to you. And for me, the expansion and contraction of my abdomen is where I feel the breath most prominently. Maybe for you, you're feeling it in your chest. Perhaps noticing sensations in the nostrils. Cooler air moving into the nostrils. Warmer air coming out. Examining the difference between the airflow in the left nostril and the right nostril. So wherever you find your breath, maybe the abdomen, maybe the chest, maybe the nostrils, maybe somewhere else entirely, seeing if you can lock your attention on that part of the body. Really examining all of the physical sensations surrounding the breath. And completely surrendering control of the breath. So that you are just a passive observer, just riding along, riding on the waves of the breath, surfing on the waves of the breath. Gently being rocked by this slow movement of the body. As we bring beginner's mind to this process of breathing, perhaps even noticing the beauty and simplicity of breathing. Inhaling fresh air, fresh oxygen. Exhaling carbon dioxide, other products of metabolism. As each and every moment, the body works hard to stay alive, to keep everything in this perfect balance. And if you find that your mind is wandering, trust that there is some reason that it's happening. There's something on the mind that pulls you away from your intended action of paying attention to breath. And then with that awareness, allowing that thought to self-liberate, just being aware that it's there, allowing it to dissolve through awareness as we refocus attention back to the breath. Fully aware of the inhalation, fully aware of the exhalation. And aware of the nature of the breath. Am I breathing long? Am I breathing short? Am I breathing deep? Maybe I'm breathing more shallowly. Awareness. This is all we're doing. Practicing being aware. If you find your mind has wandered away, seeing if you can let go of whatever distracted you and gently shepherd the mind back to observing these physical sensations of breath. Feeling the inhale, feeling the exhale. Now the time has come for us to draw our practice to its close. I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Thanks for practicing with me. Thanks for taking this time for yourself to cultivate your awareness, to cultivate your inner trust in yourself, to learn more about you as well as the inner workings of your own mind. Wish you all the best as your day or evening continues. And I just want to ask, how'd it go? What happened in your practice today? Any questions about trust or any of the 9 attitudes thus far? I see Dorina asks about the passage read at the beginning. This is from Full Catastrophe Living by Jon Kabat-Zinn. Let's see, it's like on page 25. If that's helpful. I don't know if the page numbers are the same everywhere, but this is, Full Catastrophe Living, the revised edition. Yeah, no worries. The Full Catastrophe Living is kind of the instruction manual for mindfulness-based stress reduction, and I just wanted to make sure that before we really go through the material of mindfulness-based stress reduction, which we will do probably starting in April, we'll do kind of like April, May, this kind of time frame. Be doing Full Catastrophe Living. We'll be doing the 8-week MBSR course. So that's kind of the idea. It should be maybe the end of March. We'll get started. Micah says Monkey Mind was very active today. Welcome back, Samir. It's great to see you again. It's a pleasure being here. Okay. Let's see. Trust is perhaps the most difficult attitudes for me to embrace. Um, I can agree with that as well. It's well, like I said, it was one of the hardest for me. Um, yeah, it's just sometimes it can be difficult to learn to trust ourselves, and I think that this is one of the things that does take practice. So start practicing trusting yourself and your own feelings and your own intuitions, um, and also investigate. Right? I mean, the feelings are not always to be relied upon. Right? Sometimes, I think I said a few sessions ago, if this old, from the 1960s came the "if it feels good, do it," whereas in many generations previously, if it feels good, we should be cautious, right? Like um, we've been many generations of human beings learning not to rely on our emotions, and our emotions are all over the place. So that's why this is it's a bit subtle. I think that I think because my feelings and my opinion of something may change from moment to moment, from day to day, from hour to hour. I might feel really different about that. So as we meditate, as we learn to be aware, as we understand our feelings, as we understand our emotions, as we begin to notice those visceral things around our emotions, right? I mean, trusting feeling and trusting every single emotion that comes our way are not the same thing. So, can you learn to discriminate against this feeling and this feeling? And our mindfulness practice, again, I think this brings me to the word vipassana, right? Vipassana means seeing things as they are. The more we meditate, the more awareness we get of our emotional state, the more awareness we get of ourselves. And trust becomes easier because that version of me that's showing up is the one that is more objective, is the one that sees things as they are, is not clouded by my own opinions and biases, that I begin to see things in this way, this way of truth. More off the cushion than on. Thanks, Gene. B asks, do I work with panic breathing, with the idea of the power of prana? I do believe that breath work has its place in our practice, um, and I do talk about. I have had sessions about breath work. Um, you know, prana is something different. Prana and chi are different from breath work. So, I don't work with prana or chi specifically. I do take a secular view of mindfulness and our practice. Micah says, one of the things that my mind was distracted with was someone I haven't been in touch with for a while and thinking that I should reach out to them. I let go of the thought by trusting that I would think of them again at some point when I wasn't meditating. Having ADHD, that is a difficult trust exercise because often the thoughts don't actually come back later. Happy to report that I've remembered now and made a note to get back in touch. Thanks, Micah, for sharing. So, yeah, again, it's tricky, it's nuanced, and I think maybe the most important thing that comes from meditation practice is don't just listen to the teacher, right? Don't just listen to me. Don't take these words for granted. Don't accept them, and this is part of trust as well, right? Don't listen to a teacher. Listen and discriminate what is useful, what is not useful. Practice for yourself, and then learn to trust yourself through that process. So, thanks everybody. Frank's doing great with the plants. Frank's not plant eater, and there's like a gecko just dropped off my ceiling onto my table, so I'm worried Frank might go crazy. It's like a gecko right over there on my setup. But he's okay. He doesn't see it yet. He still looks like half asleep. Come on, Frank. Smile, Frank. So I am smiling. All right. Come back on Thursday. Thursday's topic is non-striving, another really fun, unobvious attitude of the meditation practice. So we'll do that. All right, let's send our well wishes out to ourselves and to each other. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life on this planet and throughout the universe, may we all be happy and peaceful. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.